Bangalore, like Chennai, even though the incident itself took place in Kolkata, we here on The Breakfast Club thought it's important to highlight the voices of all of those who are going out of the way to make a difference in this conversation. India is a country where the resources that have been kept to make change sometimes go underutilized, where we sometimes blame victims instead of holding the perpetrators truly accountable, and where sometimes legal systems face overwhelming bottlenecks. So how can we ensure justice? How can we make sure equality prevails? Yesterday, we brought you one conversation. Today, we're going to bring you another. We're going to keep spotlighting conversations like this. Yesterday, we talked about a mother who invented an app to make the country safer. It's an app where you can actually rate the safety ratings of a place. Today, we're bringing you Neha Nagpal. She's a partner at NM Law Chambers. She's a lawyer who brings a ton of expertise with her, and she's going to tell us how you can institute real change in the country, make change happen at a fundamental level with education, with values, and with more. Let's speak to her. Let's go over to her to understand everything there is to know. Neha, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Neha, can you tell us, just a broad question for you first, how do you think we can make India safer for our women? It's a wide question, but what do you think is the single most important change that needs to happen first?
I think education. I think a sense of, you don't start with saying, oh, what a woman did is wrong. That's the fault theory. One starts with really what is the root cause, understanding the root cause. The aggression, the anger, it's all coming from a place of definitely a lack of frustration with lack of employment, lack of social disparity, all of that. But the minute somebody is an evolved, educated soul, is empowered to build a life for himself, that anger, that frustration will dissipate. If there is a culture where we are taught or where we teach our boys as young as 2, 3, 4, 5, that you have to honor and respect a woman. You have to honor and respect personal space of a woman, of a girl. I think that's where we start.
Neha, this time, the conversation has very much been around that. The fact that we need to ask our men to educate themselves, to have conversations with the other men around them. The change starts there. But we want to ask you, when it comes to the administrative side, it's not as if the funds to make the change don't exist. In 2022, you have research that found that 30% of the Nirbhaya fund remains unused till date. And this is the kind of money you could put into efforts like the one you're talking about, which is educating people. I just want to ask you, where is the issue, according to you, in our system?
That's also with the whole MPLAD, funds that they get. How much gets used and consumed? And the fact is that India is a country, the more you put in, the more you will need to put in. There is a direction that's missing. There's a roadmap that's missing clearly somewhere. Maybe we need to have, in any sort of public transport, we can have CCTVs. We can have CCTVs on roads for over 1.5 million security cameras in 15 cities. So on average, 11 cameras per 1,000 people. That is still very low. So public places, public transport, we need to amp up our CCTV game or police, patrolling game. That is one part of it. So the funds can definitely be used for that. The other part is tightening the noose and putting that money to make sure, and I agree with what Prime Minister Modi said at his Independence Day speech, the only way this will stop, or the numbers will, or these horrific acts will not be repeated, is if the judicial delivery does not take years. It is as fast and seamless as possible. That there is the mindset that one can get away with it, that one can, the judicial system will deliver, has to come in. So that becomes a deterrent for any such thought before it becomes into action.
Neha, can you tell us, so much of the onus as an Indian woman still falls on us? You know, as a woman, you're always thinking when you leave the house, am I covered enough? Family members tell you to cover up before you leave the house. So the blame is still with us. When do you think the onus will shift?
That when we don't have an answer to, what we can start doing on our part as a responsible, educated society is start creating more awareness, start having a dialogue where merely because an incident happens with a woman, it's not a woman's fault. Because if a woman would not cry foul and say, "Oh, I've been raped," if she was it was consensual. It is at a society, as a society, we need to hold ourselves responsible. Where is the mainstreaming of a dialogue that, hang on, not only is the rape victim definitely needs help. Look at what they go through in terms of physically, emotionally, they're stigmatized. But it is also that the accused also needs help and therapy. Where are we mainstreaming that dialogue? Nobody's mainstreaming that dialogue. We need to have more of this conversation, and then maybe the narrative will shift that you can't just blame a woman.
Neha, part of the reason we wanted to hear from you was your legal expertise. In terms of legal changes, what do you think need to happen? What's the biggest change that needs to happen, perhaps?
So see, in terms of laws, I think we have robust laws. Even the new BNSS and BNS is as robust as it can get in favor of women. The whole dialogue of women equality is as mainstream as it gets. And therefore, there is a surge and a rise of women across even, the armed forces, in the legal fraternity, as chairmen of banks, chairpersons of banks, as chairpersons of corporates, as judges. I mean, India is poised to now have the first woman chief justice in 27. In different walks of life, you are seeing way more opportunity being given to women being preferred in leadership roles also. So that's not the problem. Opportunity for women or the laws in favor of the women. The problem lies in the implementation. We need a more robust system. India today has one of the weakest ratio of per 1,000 population to a judge. So till that bottleneck is not released, is not managed, we will keep struggling. Therefore, there needs to be more expenditure towards ramping up courts, towards digitalization of court records, towards digitalization of even the trial process. That's the only time we will start seeing a real difference.
Neha, let me ask you lastly, one of the big questions we've talked a lot about in this movement is how do you prevent it from dying down? There's a case that happens every few years, people get very angry, and then it almost leaves mainstream discussion. How do we keep the momentum going?
So see, I think it's wrong to say that the momentum dies down. It is not mainstreamed. There are activists, there are people who are constantly working at the back end. There are NGOs that work for rape and acid attack victim survivors. They are constantly doing their job. There are, there is the judicial system that is also working, hearing cases, passing decisions, but are those mainstreamed? The fact is that's not mainstream.
Right.
And that is exactly what Prime Minister Modi also said at his speech on Republic Day, at Independence Day at Red Fort. That till it is not mainstream that there is a punishment, there is a rigorous punishment that has been given out to an accused for such a heinous crime, that fear will not get inculcated. That is, if you have, on an average basis, if you have 10 sort of incidents of rape that we read about per week, there'll be only 2 convictions. That also, yes, of course, but what is mainstreamed is that incident. But this conviction will probably be somewhere in page 2 or 3.
Okay, thank you, Neha, for providing us with your perspective, for joining us this morning on the show. Let's take you, our audiences, now to something slightly different, though conversations like this are going to continue through the entire week.